fuck, my battery didn't charge. Here I am, need a marker. Let's get a boat. Boat works. Ready to start Khartoum. A terrible case of procrastination. It has been, I don't know what it is. It's coming on 9 a.m., I think. And I told myself, okay, I'll eat breakfast and then I'll make this call that I have to make that I probably can't make, right? That's the big problem. But like, yeah, I don't want to find out that I can't make it. So I just go into avoidance mode. I think that's really what's going on here. And I don't even know if there's like a payphone anywhere nearby. There might be one there's gotta be one on campus at least. And because it's an 800 number, I mean, let me think what I was saying. Yeah, so I promised myself I would eat breakfast. The thing, I looked and they're available from like 8 a.m. Eastern time, which means I could have called many hours ago. But then I ate breakfast and I'm like, maybe, I'll come up and do this. I made myself coffee and everything so I'd be able to cope. I avoid everything. Okay. Nothing too exciting in the sequence of play. Nothing in terms of first turn stuff. I don't remember who goes first though. It's the Mahdyists. Okay. So, well, we set ourselves up to hit this. That's 2, 4, 6, 7. We have a lot more than that. So what? And I'm planning on hitting that as well. So I'm going to move into here, oh, not yet. No, I don't do that yet. I draw a card. Proclamation to tribes. Recruit. Roll 1 die and pick that number of units. Place in any spaces not occupied by Empire units. Ooh, I got to get some dice. Because this is not a buckets of dice, but you need like 5. Okay, so I can grab 3 units. These 2. That's good. I'm going to get to move everybody. The tribals 2, the Jihadiya 3, cavalry and leaders 4. Okay. I think I'll put these here because that gives me 11 dice. It might not work, but it sounds good. And we will hit, oh, this was here. We will hit all of these locations because all of my units get to move. We'll go to battle, although I need to grab some dice. And, I'll fight out the first battle kind of openly, but, this is the same damn system as we saw in the campaigns of Mantra. So if you watch that, you can see kind of, it's almost the same. You can see some of what is going on in that one. So I don't want to go into too much detail. It's like, oh, here's how you roll on a CRT type of information, basically, even though it's a weird sort of, not exactly, kind of buckets of dice system, I guess. And this should be enough. Nothing has more than a 5. You don't roll more. I'm going to hit this one because it's kind of the closest, it's the closest fight. Okay. We're in a town, which means the Empire has the advantage. But officially we roll a die. I should get a second die. Okay, Mahdyists, Empire. Mahdyists get the advantage here. So I'm going to roll 5 dice against these. 2 hits would be nice of any kind. I get that. I get 2 disruptions. Brits are going to take this as a loss so that they get the big 4 die hit on me. And this is used up. No hits. Goes down. And now, officially, I get 6 more dice against that unit. And I get some kills. So this is dead. we were successful. We don't have to worry about any points or anything for that. I really ought to put a little marker for the battle location. I think that's a good idea. I don't know what to use. I'll use this eraser. All right. I'll get to the other battles. This one's not too big a blowout. I think this one's going to be a huge blowout. All battles are a problem. I had this issue in SFB too. This guy fired, he panicked to this one. This guy fired, got no results. We go to the next round, and again, we have to roll for that, tactical superiority and everything each time. But I'm just showing you, these guys could roll at each other for a long time, and if they were only 1-point units, it would be really horrible. Here, the Mahdists took their second panic. That means they lose the battle. I've got to retreat somewhere. I don't know where I want to retreat. I can't retreat here because I can't go into a place that is with other units. I don't know if I like the idea of being caught here. These are, I don't know, these are cavalry. So they're likely to move pretty fast. I'm going to bump them back out here where they're kind of in the open. I'll put the Egyptians there. They did a good job holding off. Now we go to the big battle. Here there's an elite unit. That's going to give the Mahdists a +1 on their die roll. I'll vote for them first. They get only a 3. Okay, so these guys go first, but they're kind of weak. The other thing is, these can't be panicked. Which doesn't mean much because these guys can. Rolling for a while. That initial attack didn't hit anything, so it doesn't really do much, and now I get my big swing of 5. Now, I get nothing bonus for the elite on attack or anything, but I get a kill, and that's it. Question is, do I want to kill my weaker unit? Nah, I'm going to kill this, because why not? It's already fired, and then we've committed this, so we go over here. It'd be wise to go with my elite first, because if I picked one of these and I got a panic result against me, I could panic a unit. It's probably not going to matter, but it was probably foolish of me to roll 5 dice at this time. Option, I'm so beaten up, this might be a time I'd want to withdraw, but if I look at the, let's just make sure, I don't think I can. Fuck. Break off. Leaders, cavalry, and camel and riverboats. So these are infantry. I could break off with my cav. I don't think I want to do that. I'll just make my attack with my infantry unit. You can see I'm getting a lot of units beaten up. I get a hit, and this is a real hit. We'll take that on this unit. And now, yeah, I might as well just be on the whole time if I'm going to explain things that are going on tactically within it. Now he gets a hit and a disruption. Now, I guess I'll take the hit on the cav because the extra strength seems good. I've been panicked. Yeah, I don't know. I can't break off because I had to apply hits to both units. And because this is panicked, I still get to attack it with my 4 dice. And we panic it a few more times, and it's out of there. Which means we are successful, but not as happily as we might have been. One thing you can see is, like with a lot of games that have fog of war, it doesn't really work, right? If I'm the Empire player, I know what's in here now. And it's one of the things that kind of disturbs me about it is because since I walk away from the table a lot, it's a factor completely external to the game. How well can I remember, and it affects the, it's affected by the fact, just totally external to the game, the fact that I walk away. But it also feels a little, I don't know, improper that memory is an important part to the whole thing. Like, let's say I had no short-term memory, I would never be able to remember these things. That's similar to walking away. That seems like a disability that it's kind of unfair to penalize someone for. I don't know why, What if I can't figure out odds, Then I'm at a disadvantage. That is the end of the Mahdiist turn. They didn't win the game. So we go to Gordon et al. And we get Punitive Expedition. Recruit 3 Egyptian units. And then I can only move Egyptians. And you can see a number of different types, including the riverboat, which they have one of. However, I believe my recruiting is at random. Fuck. I don't remember. Where is recruitment handled? I seem to remember it being at random, but that may only be something else. It's so hard to remember. Okay. Mahdiist picks his cards at random from those in the reinforcement box. Cards specify the British units to be picked. The cards specify the number of Egyptian units that may be chosen. Okay, so that gives me a lot of interesting options here. But these are from the Empire reinforcement box, which is not the dead units. So the riverboat is good, this unit is good. I gotta make my choices there. Okay. All is flooded. All of these, not this one. Not this one. A lot of these are garrison units. I don't have any British units left, so I don't really have to worry about that. So I should get to move everything that's not garrison. That's a garrison too. So I can move this. I can move this. And I can move this. If I put the boat up here, it can move 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and carry someone with it. But that doesn't really help me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab none of the cav. I'm going to put everything in here. The thing is, Khartoum right now, the Nile's flooded, so it counts as a fortress. So I have a lot of protection there. Egyptian infantry can only move 2. So I'll move 1, 2. Yeah, I don't know if I can even get there. And head my way down in order to, try to reinforce this. I don't want to lose Khartoum. I think it's pretty important. I think the port's pretty important. I don't think Wadi Halfa is anywhere near as important. And we push on to the next turn. I'm not going to play that because my battery's almost dead, and I really have to try to convince myself to make this phone call. About as fruitless as I feared. Yeah, I finally found something that would give me a call. It only lasts 10 minutes. You can pay like $10 a month, and maybe I'll do that if I can't think of anything better. But, it's taken me 10 days to get to the point where I could deal with this at all. Anyway, yeah, I got a hold of them and was able to talk to someone after being on hold for, more than 5 minutes of my 10. And yeah, I couldn't get it handled in there. All right, let's go to another turn and see what we do. Nile is still flooded. Jihad! Roll 1 die and pick that number of units. I'm able to move everything, tribal, jihadi, cav leader. For combat, I have automatic tactical superiority if I have the Mahdi unit in my fight. And that's the important one. Okay, well, I get a die roll of units, and I get to pick them. This is different. Like, there's something where you get them at random, but right? I don't know. Fuck. Picks the number of units specified at random. Okay. It's not going to matter. I only have one in there. So, oh, look, I get it. And I got to decide what I want to do. I don't know how this is going to play out. This is one of the problems with coming to a new game is part of me says, look, the best thing I can do is just plow forward with a major stack, taking things out. But that may not be the case, right? Sometimes you want to spread out and everything. It's not clear to me because so much of the game is hidden in these. And I like that things are hidden, but it may make the game, there's sort of this choice. Do you study the game before you play it, or do you play the events and everything and just let them kind of play you out? And I would rather play a game where I don't know the events ahead of time. But it may be that this is a stupid game to do that way. The way that, like, Paths of Glory, you can't play it at all historically effectively by just shooting from the hip unless you memorize some of the cards at least. I would say the same argument could kind of go for Twilight Struggle, except that in Twilight Struggle there's the idea that you have these scoring cards that are going to come up for various regions. I don't know if you know which ones are going to be where, when and where. It's very much, it reminds me of something that's on my mind now that I don't have up here, which is the old, 1961 Milton Bradley Summit, which I feel like Twilight Struggle is like an attempt to make Summit with a lot more detail and, historical linkage. Anyway, let's get going. For example, Summit's a 6-player game, and somebody can be South America, somebody can be Europe. I think somebody may be Africa. Anyway. I'm going to go with the theory that I want to bust through things. And, sure, beating up units is useful. I don't think that the Empire has an easy capacity to get units back. But this is what I really want to take. And then I have to focus on, whether or not, because units will probably survive and retreat, whether or not I have to pursue those and wipe them out individually or whatever. And then I've got things like this where I can't really bust through. I'm not going to have enough movement. So we are able to put our units, deploy in the space containing the Mahdi or any town fortress occupied. I don't have any towns. I have this. I'll put it with the Mahdi because that's where I want them. And let's look at my movement. Everything goes at least 4. So these can get up here. What about these guys? Gets them all there. That's a big wipeout for this. Now I could leave a garrison there, but I feel like anything I leave is going to be weaker. And what about this? These are camels and horses, which have a movement of 6. I'm going to bring them around to here. Let me make sure I can do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down to here. Because if we look at these, land and river routes are available to everyone, and the desert is available to all the Mahdiist units. I'll get back after the battles. Open things up with these Egyptians failing to hit. That means I get all my dice against them. I'd be able to pursue even though there's no enemies. Yeah, as long as I win the battle. So, however, I have nothing that's capable of pursuing, so we'll go to this battle. Mahdi automatically gets the initiative on this one. Interesting sort of tactical die roll odds type choices. I could go, my best shot is with the Mahdi 5 dice. I got almost as good a shot with 4 dice, and then if I take some sort of hit, I can take it on a unit that's already gone. I think the way the Mahdiist units come back, that actually makes sense, because I will probably get replacement units from what I've seen of my 2 cards. Here I get a die roll of units. Here I get a die roll of units. I think dead units just go back into the muzzle, into the reinforcements. I'm not positive of that, though. There's no dead pile. There's an eliminated Empire one and a Muslim, a Mahidist reinforcements. And there's special rules for how the Mahdi comes back in, but I would be like completely out of units after the first card or 2 if these can't come back. The thing, one enemy, this is an elimination, one enemy unit of the targeted player is removed from the map and placed in the dead pile. That unit has been permanently knocked out of the fight. That's what it says here. Here it's got, speaking about getting things out of the Empire eliminated box, I'm not sure I can get my units back, is the real problem. In which case, I'm down, that unit that I took as a loss is actually just dead. But that means, you know, my recruits automatically, you know, I'm going to get them almost immediately and be done with them. And I don't really need cards for the rest of them. We have nothing here. We have special rules. We get down to Mahdiist contingent. No. The Mahdi is eliminated. He's replaced. Nothing about the Mahdiist forces coming back. They're going to deplete really quickly. I'm going to have to look this up in the errata or whatever, see if there's something about it, because yeah, this unit would not be here, or some unit would not be there. Rules as written, clearly the Mahdiist units wouldn't come back. However, on BGG, there was a thread asking this question, hey, how can you possibly get, like, there was a card that generates 3 replacements, and the question was, how can you ever get more than 2? And, you know, a couple of people are like, well, there's no eliminated box, so they, you know, they go back in the reinforcements and are replaced. There's no way you can get that out of the rules. The rules are very clear that the units are permanently destroyed in the base rules, and there's no modification in the, okay, look, DG fucks up, no big deal there. However, no errata anywhere. The game that's been out for 6 years, you'd expect there to be an errata loaded up to BGG. I didn't look over on WebGrognerds. That's a good source for errata for old games. Although I feel like most things have kind of migrated over to BGG, so I'm like, okay. But I figured newer things, after, you know, BGG became kind of important enough to exist, somebody should have posted there, right? Well, no. As far as I can tell, the only place there's any mention of this with any definitive answer is somebody posted these questions over on CSW, and got an answer in, one of those interminably long CSW threads. Here's the game. It's just this constant thread going on. It's like, it's not a way to deliver answers. BGG is a little better when answers are given there, but after a year or so, somebody, you would assume the developer would be involved in arranging that the errata gets put out. Yeah, there's nothing there. Even if it's just a line of errata, it should have its file, and be updated. Anyway, the answer was what my gut said, which is that they just go back here, which is what I was doing. So yeah, do I want to put a 4-pointer first? I think I do, because I'm going to get the other question is whether I want to just take hits on the little guys and say fuck them. But I could just get a panic or something. So I'm going to shoot that big guy off. Although I'm likely to take a lot of dice from some of these things. This does not considered to be artillery in this game. I wonder how many other games are in this Hand of Destiny thing. Montrose was not. Yeah, I'm going to go look. There's like 5 games in it, including Montrose, which is not part of it. It doesn't use these mini system rules, right? But I put that on BGG. They shouldn't, Somebody suggested, hey, it's basically the same game. Yeah, it is, but it's not part of the series. Whether all 3 other games are, who knows? But I assume so. Yeah. All right. So let's start shooting. First round of combat, nobody hit each other. Mahdi ended up getting a panic against these Egyptians. Now, this is where it gets hard. I could panic this unit, which has already got its shot in, or I could go for a weaker unit. I'm going to panic this one. Probably means he gets away. I don't know. Now, let me put this sideways because this gets removed from play once it's done. But I think there's a card that allows it to go back in. This is what we got left. A lot of Mahdeists have gotten panicked, but still heavily outnumbered. But I can't run under these circumstances. And now that I go to another round, these guys get shot at again. Ouch. It's getting tight here, isn't it? But again, the Mahdeists win initiative automatically from this card. Oh, fuck, my battery's not charging up there. So the 2 panicked units managed to escape. These all recover. Nothing can pursue. I'm saying Mahdi's not a leader. I could, there was an answer to that, or there was a question about that just recently posted about, hey, who are the leaders? Is it Gordon and Mahdi? Or every named, are the named tribal leaders? Like, to me, Mahdi can't be. He's got too big a force. I just think Gordon is, but I don't know. But yeah, so we did take another loss, but it's not a big deal. I would have arranged things differently. Oh, fuck. Panics don't count. Son of a bitch. The only units that were panicked were these 2. I'm going to give a bunch more dice because I was down to this and see if we beat the Mahdi. I played it out the way I did, but yeah, he got hit multiple times. With those 2 hits, we would have gotten one of these too. So I'll kill one of these. And the Mahdi will come back, but it's slower than anything else. So Khartoum was defended successfully. We'll fall back here across the desert. Don't think I can be pursued in the desert by things that can't move in the desert. And the Mahdi himself, yeah, this was a serious fuck up. Roll a die, divide the result by 2. Okay, so he will come back in the next turn. That's pretty sweet. This card, which presumably is one of the most powerful in the game, I guess, is removed from play. But again, that doesn't mean it can't come back. And we're not even going to need Gordon. Graham Expedition. The 4 British units of the G, Butler Davis Cavalry Naval Brigade. Brits get to move. Decent amount of movement. Of options with it was on. It was charging, and now it's stopped again. It's back to green. These 4 British units, I can bring them either at Wadi Halfa or here at the port. Doesn't matter. I wouldn't need control of the port. I could go in no matter what. I'm going to get to move. See, now there's leaders, which leads me to believe that there might be more than one leader, but I don't know who they are. And this was another question. It's like Butler as Davis. Are they leaders? I don't know. And I got this, which looks like artillery. It's a naval brigade. It's elite. I'm guessing it's artillery. It doesn't say it is, but it looks like it is. Which gives certain bonuses, but it's elite and it's artillery. What's up with that? Because elite adds 1 to your tactical roll, but artillery does too. What's up? I don't know. Artillery also has that. I'm kind of guessing that it's not supposed to be +2. That an elite unit is one thing, but then why not just put an elite marker on all the artillery and boats? This feels like it should be able to combine with that, but like, God, who fucking knows? You know what I mean? Who fucking knows? I got no idea. You're only supposed to be able to take elite once. I'm also trying to figure out what I want to do. My force, since it includes artillery, and I don't have a boat or anything, the Egyptian boat can't be used. I would have 3 and 4 movement for the cav that I don't particularly care about. Rough would stop me, so that's not cool. So I think I want to move down with these. So I'll put them all here. 1, 2, 3. We'll just keep the entire force gathered here. Let's see what we do. I'm so frustrated about the call that I tried making, whatever. Tomorrow's supposed to be pretty too. I'm kind of like, if I gotta go out and try to find a payphone or try to get a new phone, which is another possibility. Maybe I do that tomorrow, but I should start looking into it today, just because anytime I can put something off, I do. And that's a problem. All right, so we're going to get the Mahdi back because he got a lucky roll. And I'm going to pause for a bit, see what I can do about the Chargers. As is so often the case in my life, everything's just too fucking complicated. I tried looking for nearby payphones, and there's nothing. The university doesn't have one. This is just hard for me to believe that there's not one anywhere on the university. I mean, there are ones that are like a decent size walk away, supposedly, but the site that has them listed has like little exclamation points next to them without any indication of what that even means. I don't know what I'm gonna fucking do. I need to do something. But each step like looking for the payphones to try to convince myself I could do that tomorrow. Just sets me back and puts me into this kind of, oh fuck, I can't deal with it. And the next thing is I look into the phones, but God, I don't know. I mean, supposedly the company that I get my interwebs from, it gives me free phone service if I had a phone that connected to them. And supposedly they have phones that I can trade a phone in and get for no money, or very little. I mean, it wouldn't be terrible if I had to pay $100 for a phone, even, or $10 for a month of service with one of these things. But now I've got options, and I can't make up my mind, and I'm frozen and paralyzed. Standard Aspie shit, right? Okay, so we got the Mod D coming in here. And fuck it, I can play a game. Dervishes forward. Recruit 2 units. Okay, cool, that's what I have, and it seems like it's legitimate now. I get movement of 4 with just about everything, and add 1 to the first tactical superiority for 1 modest attack in open or rough terrain. That's not going to work in important places. So I don't know how much that's going to help me. I mean, this is in open, I guess, but I can't really get there. Yeah. Khartoum is now low. It is no longer a fortress, which means it's just a town. Town gives almost nothing. It just gives the benefit and counts as a supply source. I've been kind of forgetting about supply. I think I'm okay. I get supply out of towns, so yeah, I'm fine. Okay. Where does the Mod E come back, though? I think with any unit. Let's see that roll. On any space not containing Empire units, this is in addition to other recruits. Yeah, I think we want to wipe Khartoum out again. I'm trying to decide, can I get this and that? That would be really potent. But I outgun this pretty heavily if I throw another unit in. And if I throw these 2 in here. All right, let's do this. Boom. Boom. Oops. There are these crappy Egyptians here too. We should walk like them and see what we can do. One of the things is, so I feel like, oh, yeah, that's an Egyptian. I feel like the Mahdiist reinforcements coming in, on every fucking card feels believable, certainly more so than they only get 2 reinforcements and don't get anything else. But that's so potent, so strong. I just don't feel like the Empire gets anything like that kind of, capacity. And that the Mahdiists have more troops to begin with. So I kind of want to blow them away. Anyway, let's get to our fights. Neither of these is going to be an open terrain, so yippity-yay. Egyptians got first shot off, panicked someone, but then they get hit and panicked. I like boats, but I'm going to head up this way. I don't have enough cav to chase him, so Khartoum has fallen. Does this do anything special? Not really. But again, it's beating up his concentration force. Win the tactical advantage here. We both have, again, I really don't feel like this is both elite and artillery. It just seems goofy if that's the case. Then artillery is always going to have a +2. But anyway, that just, like, it feels like it should add in. But there are no other elites. Oh, wait, there's an elite. No, that's an artillery again. So I don't know. Like, the existence of artillery might count as 2 advantages. Yay, DG. Anyway, the Brits got the advantage this time, and we'll see. This is a closely matched battle, to tell you the truth. The town does not give anywhere near the power the fortress did. Things are going really bad for the Mahdi here. Had a unit killed and 1 panicked by the first strike. He came back, missed everything. Second strike, 2 panics, had to go on these 2. Actually, I could kill a unit. I could kill a unit instead and keep some dice. I think I'll do that because I'm likely to get those back. First round, we got our hopes. Again, I don't know. I'm just giving this a +1. So the Mahdi, and that Mahdi gets to go first. That's going to be big. He just keeps rolling shit. Knocked out again. His entire force is wiped out. We get him back next turn, though, right? Am I doing this right? It's divide by 2, round up. Yeah, sure. But we go to the Brits, and they get. This one doesn't go away. They get Slatin Bay. Thought he was already on the board. Recruit. If Dara is Empire occupied, it is not. Recruit 1 Egyptian unit and place it there. If Dara is not Empire occupied, the Mahdist immediately recruits 1 unit and places it there. Well, that blows. I can't take Mahdi. I'm going to take this. It's not an optimal unit, but I'm counting on, I want forces nearer to where my power base is. Egyptians only get to move, and not very far. Cav and fast stuff goes 3, everything else 2. Mahdi is able to show up pretty much anywhere, anywhere not containing Empire, but other units can't recruit just anywhere. And what that means is I can't get like the Mahdi and, you know, a bunch of troops up here or something like that, because the Mahdi gets placed last. He could serve as a foci for gathering the reinforcements. The secret is I was supposed to keep this Slatin Bay here. I mean, not gonna, you know. That would be what maybe you would do if you knew the entire deck. But again, it's a useful unit. What the hell? Khartoum's garrison could not retreat. I retreated it. Oops. What the hell's this? I really wish there were a better way of seeing garrisons and whatnot. Okay. This is that. And also that one can't be easily gotten. That was in the dead pile already. I'm moving this way. I don't know what the fuck to do with these guys. Like, I'll move this down here. That cannot move. So I guess that is the end of their turn. And we're down to another turn with the Mahdi coming on the board. Gonna break. You know, a normal person just wouldn't be facing the stresses that I'm facing, right? And they just get magnified and again and again and again, as all my stresses do, as opposed to like, but, you know, it's a combination of the kind of life that I've chosen to live and just really kind of recoil from like having to have a fucking phone. You know, but in addition, like I also have this, I'm not able to like operate anymore. And the more and more it's like the ways that I've patterned my life have grown less and less effective. Like I used to have Skype that I could call things on. Now I don't. Are there things I could use? Yes, but I'd have to do something for them. Battery did not charge as much as it should have. Some, but not as much as it should have, I guess. And we're getting the Mahdi again. It's palm off bib, the Model T. Select one modest unit other than the Mahdi, eliminate the unit. I don't get any movement. Well, that kind of blows. I'm sure I can find something shitty. There we go. Assume it doesn't mean randomly. Because in some places where it is random, it says select or something like that. I don't know. Right? Getting confused because yeah, see, the modest player picks the number of units specified, picks at random. At least it doesn't say chooses. I think I may have cheated, but you know, I'm going to screw things up all the time in these games. Well, I don't get to do anything because of that. We are in low water. Send Gordon. Recruit Gordon, 2 Egyptian units deployed together at Khartoum, Wadi Halfa, or Swakan. I can't do it at Khartoum because that's occupied. The only place I'm allowed to just inject myself is here. Move British and Egyptian. Decent amount of movement. At the end of the turn, remove this card from play. Okay. Question is, how far can we get with our force? We don't have a boat here. Let's see what we get here. What does it say here? Gordon, 2 Egyptians. The Egyptians, according to that thread, we can look at how this looks. The card specified number of Egyptians that may be chosen from those in the Empire reinforcements box. According to that thread, the Egyptians can come back from here by this as well. But that you have to take them from the reinforcements first. Again, I'm just like, whatever. You know, the rules are obviously not sufficient if they're putting stuff that's just like directly not contained in them and seems completely in opposition to how they're written. I got a battery real fast. So I'm not sure where I want to go first. I have, these are okay. These are camel and horses with the leader. They're going to have a movement of 4. If I start them here, they're going to get blocked by one of these. So I'll start them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess. And I'm going to move this force, which can only go 3, except for the cav. 1, 2, 3 to there. In a messy little pile. The Gordon card is removed from play. And, well, we have this too. I could move this. Hold on. That's allowed to move 3 as well. 1, 2, 3. Get some additional defense on that town. You know, the idea of like the modists holding this is just not that big a deal, but also I just don't know what to do about it. Anyway, that turn has ended quickly. I'm going to start my battery recharging again, I hope. To sleep, to hide from what I absolutely must do, but can't face. Yeah. That's me. This is the last of the low tide turns. And we draw the Mahdiist card. Captured weapons. Recruit 2 units. Tribals don't move very fast. Everything else kind of does. It's hard to tell the difference. You know, yeah, whatever. Add 1 to combat strength of all attacks made by Jihadiya units. That just means they get an extra die roll. What do we get? Mahdi is over here. We got a 2-unit recruit, and I believe these are at random, which I've got to look it up every fucking time because it's like, I don't know. So it says picks the number at random from there. Okay. I could throw them in a cup, or I could roll dice for them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one, that's pretty good. And then 3 and 3. This one, not so good. We need to see this army's kind of weak. I could go beat up on Gordon down here, whereas this is a much stronger force, and I'd like to build up more. Is having taken Khartoum, I'm afraid of losing it because for most of the rest of the game, it's going to be a fortress again if I lose it. To think that the Mahdi himself is a leader, what else does he move as, right? Tribal has this image. Jihadi has this image. Cavalry has that. So strong as he is, I think he may well have that really fast movement rate. This is one of the problems. I'm moving forward with this. I don't have a lot there. I've gathered my forces here. I could get Mahdi and the Cav. That would be a powerful little force, but that would leave these guys behind for this to come up at. I could work on something else. You know, the real problem is how likely is this to get to me? I could look at these and see what kind of movement we're looking at. Infantry, artillery. This one has a 3. That would be problematic. These others have a 2. Gordon, I'm assuming, is pretty decent. Yeah. So they're good cards they could get to me on. And a weak force there in the fortress might not be that big a threat. So I think I'm just going to take everybody and go, because I can only move 2 with everybody. I could move faster with the Cav and the leaders, but I'm just going to move down here and fight these. Success, I choose not to advance. Now, if I could get Khartoum in both of these, that would be kind of cool. So I might be able to spur somebody in that direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. The problem is getting this one. I was going to send him up, but, you know, this is a pretty potent defensive force. I have to beat that to get into place. All right, let us take a look at what the Brits have. Breakout. Oh, I forgot I had more dice. Okay, well, I won anyway. This would have been a good turn to attack there, but I couldn't reach it. British and Egyptian units get to move. There's no recruiting, but it's a fast movement. And you can select one garrison and replace it with an Egyptian infantry out of the eliminated box. Okay. I'm just making sure I haven't pulled any garrisons out with me. I haven't. So I could get rid of the Wadi Halfai. Can't replace it with those. I could get a faster unit, but I don't really feel like I want to do that. But I have decent movement that's fast enough to get me back to Khartoum. And I'm allowed to move both British and Egyptian. I should be able to position myself into good location there and really, you know, take back everything that the Mahdiists have done. made it here. This, by the way, is just an important battle location. I don't know where it says that, but it has no effect on play. It's really cool that they put something in red that kind of jumps out. That's absolutely unimportant except for historical notes. Gosh, thanks. And it's not even on there. All right, let's move forward. Shit. I'll do another turn. What the fuck? I'm just so stressed about this situation. You know, with my wife's inheritance, the stuff she had in Portugal, a lot harder to get a hold of and whatnot, would only help me survive an extra year, maybe two. This is, you know, the difference between like 20 years and longer than I can possibly live. I don't know. All right, we get an ambush. Uh-oh. Designate one open or rough space containing only Egyptian units. Well, there isn't any. And roll a die. No British or Gordon. Move all Egyptian infantry, camel corps, and cav units in that stack a number of spaces to the result, up to the result. If they end in a Mahdiist space, engage in combat with the Egyptians. None of this does anything. This has a move of none. I haven't been looking for... Some of these cards say hold on them. I haven't run into that yet. I certainly haven't seen anything yet. So I don't know. I basically don't get a turn. Because there's no movement, no recruit listed. This would be a card that I could see taking as a hold card. But that's specified somewhere. Right? Hold cards. Player have cards which are marked hold. When picked, they can play it immediately or not. I don't see any hold on here. Kitchener! I didn't know he showed up during the campaign. I thought he showed up after. Replace one eliminated British unit. Gordon may not be replaced if eliminated. Decent movement. And I get to examine all Mahdiist stacks. We're on deck B now. I think this is the beginning since that was deck A still. Okay. I don't actually get Kitchener. Sucks to be me. Replace one eliminated British. Well, I only have one. Where does he have to go? I can't put him in Khartoum, from what I can tell. Fui. I don't know if I'm better coming down the river or not. I'm going to have a decent amount of movement, which could get me to here. This has some defensive benefits, so I'll put them up here. And yeah, there's not a lot of excitement here. You know, I've got a pretty good idea what the Mahdiists have, especially if these things are face up. If they're all face down, maybe not so much. Solidify Khartoum. Now, our victory points at the end of the game, we have to actually occupy locations to get victory points for them with the Brits. So I've got 3, 6, 7 points right now. Chances are I can land something here, but it's beginning to get late in the game, and I may lose a modest loss by just not holding enough locations if I'm not careful. My movement's not very high. I could get a lousy movement card, something like that. I've only got 3 more turns. All right, we're going to break there. This was a fairly light turn, but yeah, you know, the Mahdiists may be giving up on the automatic victory type thing and be looking at, well, we can pick off where the British show up. The only problem is this is one hell of like a boot plug in their way that they're just not going to get anything through. But a decent move, well, even, you know, I could send some patrols out and whatnot to threaten other locations and make it harder for the Brits to hold stuff. They're not going to show up just at random down here, as far as I'm concerned. It's going to be here and here. So, I don't know. You know, as I try to drown out the angst, and I've had enough, had some sleep, watching shit on videos, masturbating, whatever the fuck I can do to drown in the sound of my conscience or whatever it is. It's not really conscience, but it's that thing that says, hey, you have to do this from my head. And have to do this is not that difficult. You know, it's like, look at my ISP site and try to figure out, you know, can I get a new phone this way quickly enough, whatever. What can I do? Anyway, as I try to get rid of those vestige echoing thoughts that only make me sick, the same way, you know, walking away from probably around $50,000 that was stowed away in Portugal. Kinda did, but this is an amount that I never could have, you know, that most of my life I didn't have available. But that's what I'm like at this point. I come up here and soldier on a little bit more here in the Sudan. One of the things about, and now I can get to the game. One of the things, I think I have to do that as a matter of like penance or something. I have to keep bringing it up a little bit. Share how fucking pathetic I am. One of the things that this game and Montrose have in common, other than, you know, everything else, except in both cases, I feel like it's not really clear right away what your strategy is for your victory conditions. In Montrose, it was very, you know, there's sort of a trick. I'm not sure there is one in this. There might be, and there might be something similar, to tell you the truth. But I've got this position where I've got to worry. You know, my hope had been wipe out the Empire's troops so that I had free reign and can move from place to place and just fuck them up. Now, I've killed a lot of their troops, but not enough. They still have a powerful force that's as powerful as everything the Mahdi forces put up at once. And I'm kind of, you know, trying to figure out how can I lock down enough locations to prevent them from being able to grab the 9 victory points. And I know it's going to be a close run thing. Remember, they get to move last. The Empire does. So they can run around and grab locations, but they don't have a lot of mobility. Some of these locations are very hard to get to. Khartoum may not be the best place for my big force, but it's the safest place for it. But right now I'm looking at 3, 6, 7, 8 that are really within my range. And there's the 9th one. Or there's the 9th one. Which really does kind of put Khartoum in the center of it all. On the other hand, it could just be 3, 6, 9 if I can slip in there on the last turn. But I can't count on that. I don't know what that last card is going to be because I haven't memorized the deck, but I might. Anyway, let's see what the Mahdist do. By the way, there's 3, 6, 9 turns and 9 cards. You probably won't run out of cards. I don't know. Okay, Siege. This is a hold card. The Mahdist can give up their turn to get this. I can recruit a unit, move everything very little. If attacking Khartoum, I treat the defenders as open terrain. The problem is my tribals only have a 1 movement. I am going to hold this card because I'm not going to be able to do dipshit with it as it stands. This is a way to not get all the cards. But I think taking Khartoum is a huge, huge thing. Of course, I have to move closer to it. Oh, fuck. If only it had just like 1 more movement for the tribals. Because a fair amount of my stuff is tribals, right? These are the Jihadiya, or whatever they are. Or more modern. All right, well, we'll pass on it. See what we can do. This is the Khartoum hold card. What does this do? Play this only if Gordon is in Khartoum. He is. That means I can't, like I would not be able to hold it if I didn't have Gordon there. Or I would have to hold it if I had it. I get 2 Egyptian units in Khartoum. Now, I don't know what I get. I think it might be random. I don't know. It just says chosen from by the player, as opposed to picked randomly. I think that's reasonable. Although in probability, quite often you'll say something like choose 2 marbles from the bag at random. It's like, what? British and Egyptian units which start the movement phase in Khartoum get 1 set of movement. Okay? After playing this card or discarding it because criteria cannot be met. Aha! I don't know. The card is removed from play. You may select 1 other discarded Empire card and add it to the drawback deck, reshuffling it. So, I could build a big force and try to defeat the Mahdeists. Again, if I wipe the Mahdists out, I'm in a very powerful position. But what if I don't wipe them out? How much do I have that is able to pursue? I have a bunch of cav. That's not bad. I think I am going to play this. I get to take Can I take these? This is the Khartoum garrison. I could rebuild this in Khartoum, I believe. Guess the battery ran out while I wasn't looking. It looked like I had quite a bit. But some of these are pretty low. So I was looking at taking the boat, which can't pursue, but I don't have anything really good that can pursue. The question is, what about the garrisons? Somewhere, I remember something, but it may have been in the questions on BGG or something, because there's no official errata that I could like easily pencil in. These guys can only be, the Khartoum and other named location garrisons can only be placed back in their garrison location. You might be able to get out of there. They can turn into infantry, but I'm going to have to look to see if it's in here and what's up with that. Egyptian garrisons must be placed in towns already occupied by existing empire units, no more than 1 per. The Khartoum, Suakin, and Wadi Hafai can only be placed back on their namesake locations. This is a powerful defensive unit, which I'm not too unhappy with leaving behind in Khartoum, instead of building a 3-point unit and taking it with me to have a better chance of winning the fight. I think it's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these 2. I'm going to move I can go the 2 spaces. Worst comes to worst, I could have taken the riverboat with me and carried other units. And I'm going to try to wipe out the Mahdi's force. Rules don't indicate that this is possible, but there's some worry that, like, oh, hey, maybe his hold card could be used as a reaction or something like that. The way the rules are written, I wouldn't assume that, and now I know that it's not the case. But also, this card is going to be removed from play, and I select one other discarded card. And that gets shuffled back in. Now, this too, I have to look up the rules for. Hold cards, reshuffling. If all cards are discarded, these are there. That's not it. Certain events can cause a reshuffle. I'm trying to remember where the rules on this is about the hold cards. When a card instructs a player to reshuffle the draw deck, the player randomly picks a discarded card and adds it. After adding the card reshuffle, cards marked hold or remove are eligible to be placed back. Okay, so I could bring Send Gordon back. Now, I'm sure he can't come back. It's a pretty good card. Let me see if I have anything else that competes with it. I think the Punitive Expedition is actually better. This gives good movement. Gets removed from play, a big deal. But this only gives me 2 Egyptian units, which are limited to one of 3 locations. This will give me 3 Egyptian units. It only allows me to move Egyptian units, but my Brits are going to be pretty wiped out if this attack fails. So I'm going to take the Punitive Expedition, and then that gets reshuffled into these 2 cards. Definitely going to use dice, but I got to shuffle it around first. And, you know, might come up. 2 cards, it's really hard not to keep track of where one of the 3 is in my hand. I think I succeeded in that, and then rolled dice so that it's random which order it's in, but I also really don't know. But it took quite a bit of, like, little 3-card shuffling. All right, this is essentially done. And we're ready for the fight. Initiative for this big fight, the way I've been playing this, like, there's 2 ways I could play this. One, the artillery unit provides two points on the initiative roll, the tactical superiority, on its own. One for being veteran, one for being artillery. The other way is that V is really indicating the artillery capability, and this other veteran would count. Another possibility would be that where the artillery is mentioned over here is just bullshit, and this is meant to replace that. I mean, I guess there's 3 different ways of interpreting it. But the 2 that I'm most inclined to both give a +2. So Gordon's going to have a +2 on his initiative roll. Not good. It's a tie. That means we drop to town. The Empire gets the advantage. They'll get to roll dice first, and they'll be going with this 4-point cav to get it out of the way so it won't get panicked. But, I mean, they're going to take hits on lesser units anyway. I have handled a couple of my fights this big 4-pointer fought. We had a kill and a panic over there. On the second roll by the Mahdi, we got 2 panics. I took one on a big unit that already hit that can't pursue, and I took one on a little unit because I do think I may need to pursue, just to chase down whatever is panicked or whatever. The game kind of coming to a close. I've been taking hits on things that maybe I wouldn't normally take early on. Number of Mahdiist units are panicked. All of them have finally gone, and now I get to roll 4, 6, 7 dice to try to break the remainder. Kills have to be taken against these units. Isn't good. The fucking Mahdi is causing issues. I got 2 panics. I ended up killing a unit, but now only the Mahdi is left. These guys can't withdraw. He can withdraw, but I didn't think this out as well as I should have. And now we're looking at a round like this. Still got a +2 on the Brits. Yeah, we still have the artillery there. And they win the initiative. I'll fire with that big cav unit. The Mahdi, who will be available next turn. Yay him. But the problem is now I get 2, 4, 6, 7 dice against these poor fuckers. And I feel like I outthunk myself with the Mahdiist forces. And things look really, really good for the Empire now. Get one more kill, that means there's going to be 2 units retreating. There is a possibility, and yes, I am going to, of pursuit. But let's take a look first at the effects of losing. If there's more than one panic, they must all retreat together. Fleets. Oh, that I do not believe was in Montrose. I brought it downstairs already. They cannot retreat into an enemy-occupied space. Doesn't say anything about retreating back into the space the enemy entered from. Montrose had specific rules allowing that, but I don't think I need that. I feel like this is where I want to be. And then Gordon and all this cavalry is going to chase, because I saved all my cav. I'm going to leave this unit here, and now we're at another battle here. It doesn't look like infantry, but it's also not cav. That gets left behind. That means Gordon has a +1 now. And we can put this here. All my shirts are so ripped up now. That's a 5 to a 4. Gordon gets first shot. See if he wipes out these couple of units, essentially. He gets nothing. I'll be back. Very special place. Gordon is the only remaining unit on the British line. If he retreats, we get to the end of the round and this will break. So we're going to do that and fall back to here, being more clever than the Mahdeists were on their turn. But they're here. I moved here because it keeps me kind of close to Khartoum, and I could retreat across the desert, which would have been harder. Almost nothing could pursue him. Gordon and the camels could have pursued. It would have been possible for me to keep a different unit alive. I don't remember what. Something better than Gordon, like this camel cav. I think it had already shot. But had I done that, I don't know. Had I done that, there would have been a problem. Forgot to roll for Gordon. No, he never got his turn, so he got to pass. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. That's going to move us forward. The Mahdi's coming back. This, I get to recruit 1 unit. Here's the problem. If I recruit a unit, I follow this. Where is it? Deploy in a space containing the Mahdi and or any towns or fortresses captured. Whatever unit I'd recruit can't go here. So I'm not in a good position to attack here. I'm going to hold this card for next turn and draw a new card instead. And I get Mahida. Recruits 3 units. Not a lot of movement. At the end of your turn, remove this card from play, then reshuffle the draw deck. You may select 1 discarded Mahdiist card, and discard it including dead, but not this one. I'm guessing. I mean, it kind of says remove it from play, then reshuffle, which kind of feels like I should be able to put this back in. But anyway, this doesn't give a lot of movement. and add to the reshuffle. Okay. I got a big problem. I don't know if I'm allowed to place my units. I've got 3 big units coming in. Deploy units containing the Mahdi or any towns or fortresses occupied by them. There's K12. What was this? K14. K11 and K16 allow placement anywhere. I don't think I can get reinforcements no matter what. Well, that fucking blows. But again, I didn't want to waste this this turn. Okay. So I'm going to put the Mahdiist here. What do I have? I have tribals with me. So I'm going to move as far as here. Let's check this card. Fuck! They don't get to move. They don't get to move with shit on this card. And I'll get swarmed here if I'm there. Fuck, 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 fuck. I need those tribal troops, right? Forgot I had this guy. Just like lost my location because of him. He's not going to be able to move very far either. I think I put the Mahdi here. I move here, which doesn't do me shit. But I can take a town at least. I don't see anything that's going to particularly help me. But I'm in position where I can attack Khartoum with this card next turn. That's all I got. And I'll get the reinforcement of a whole unit. Fucking 3 units I didn't get. Not that it would help too much. I don't know. It would help garrison stuff or something maybe. Yeah, let me see if I've got any cards that I want to take. I've got this Jihadi, which gives me a whole bunch of random pieces and a lot of movement. But that doesn't help me if I'm definitely going to play this. So who cares, right? Back on the Empire, they do not have a hold card in hand. I did take the Jihadis. It's not going to matter. This is the Wolseley Expedition. Recruit 7 British units of the Wolseley Expedition. Well, that's going to take a hell of a lot of space. Move only British. I hope he has a riverboat because it's not going to work otherwise. Add 1 to a tactical superiority die rolls for 1 Empire attack involving British units this turn. I don't know where I'm allowed to bring Wolseley in. British in Wadi Halfa or Suakin. Send Gordon can be placed in Khartoum. And that's about it. Well, right now, I'm holding 6. Let's see what I can do. There's a riverboat here. This has to go to Wadi Haifa or Halfa or whatever. I am not finding anything that states that a particular contingent, not contingent, but whatever the fuck it's called, well, this says contingent for the letter. So the contingents listed in the specific rules are the nationalities. The contingent here is the expedition within the contingent in the scenario rules. Really fucking annoying. That's all I have to say. Oh, wait. Unit specify unless it can be placed on, it may not be placed on empty. I don't see anything that's making me keep a specific contingent together, and I would expect it to be here or here or something. But again, knowing decision games rules, I'm like, I could be stuck in all kinds of different places. So I think I can split my forces up, which is really important because I have naval landings. I could land a couple of units here, place one there, and then put the rest up here and use the boat, which I can't start anywhere but here, to move me further. I'm going to have a big 6 movement with the boat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not going to take me anywhere useful, but I do get another turn, so maybe I could retake Khartoum with it. The vast majority of my force pretty fast. I'm not really thrilled with the idea of putting cav up here as garrisons, but they're important points. Let's say I hold this, and 1, 2. I only need 3. I only need 1 more location. So that puts me in a pretty powerful position where I don't think the Mahdists can even beat us. The core rules, which allow fleets to transfer 3 units, I can transfer all 4 units with this fleet, if I so desire. I don't think I can pick units up in mid-walk, so this is going to remain as a garrison here. So what I did was I set 2 units up here. One of them is going to sail to that location. That gets me to 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points of locations. We'll see what else I do, right? This has 6 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's get it as close as we can. You know, whatever, I can drop some units off, whatever. I could combine these, but I could also just try to hold this, because that's another 3 points that's really hard for him to get. So that sounds actually pretty appealing to me. And my infantry can move 3, which could actually get me as far as here. But I think I'd rather throw my cav back there. The question is what this infantry wants to do. Does he want to stay on the river? Or does he want to run over to here? Now, if he stays on the river, he's available to try to retake Khartoum, depending on what my next card is. It might not allow me to move Brits. But if I move here, I'm less likely to be destroyed on my turn. I think I'm more likely to be destroyed because he has to take Khartoum and he has to take other things. So I'm going to call this the best movement I have. And he's screening this. He's doing all kind of good stuff for me. Khartoum is no longer a fortress on the last turn of the game. That's kind of harsh. All right, I'm going to pause for a little bit, finish this up for the grand finale. But I've got to say, I'm definitely feeling a lot more interested about the end game of this feels not as wacky as it did in Campaigns of Montrose. Made another attempt at things. Yeah, I know it's late at night. I can't get anything done. But in terms of, I tried to look into, I'm supposed to be able to get free phone service, but none of the phones that I have are supported. So, you know, I looked at, they've got like this, basically you could trade in a phone, and I could probably trade in one of my phones and get a phone for nothing, but it looks like I have to mail it and all kind of shit like that. I just don't want a fucking deal. I couldn't get the how it works to see if I could just like walk to the location where I set up my internet or whatever initially and get it hooked up that way. It's just fucking pissing me off so much. I'm at the point where it's like I either buy a phone service over the internet, which all of them are more expensive than Skype was, although maybe the Microsoft Teams version is cheaper if I use that computer, but I'm like, I don't know, I hate turning that one on at all. It just hurts so much when I do. It's my wife's old computer. And just going out tomorrow with the information and trying to find a payphone. There are supposedly some in the town. Strangely enough, none at the university. Anyway, at the game, as I'm just, fuck, I hate this shit. Not the game, my life. All right, it looks really hard for the Mahdeists to do anything. Right now, we're looking at 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 points held by the umpire. I have to get them down to 9. I have a card which allows me to attack at Khartoum. I get 1 whole unit from that. And it's treated as open terrain. It's not worth it because it's open terrain right now. So I'm going to hope for something better than that. Maybe the card I threw in. And it's the Jihadist. I get a die roll number of units, a lot of movement. I get automatic tactical superiority for all attacks involving the Mahdi himself. And then at the end of the turn, it goes away. Okay, that's fair. Let's see how many units I get. I get 5 units. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. I'm only allowed to build them with the Mahdi because I'm not occupying a village. And remember, the umpire gets to go after me, too. Well, maybe that's the Kitchener thing. Which means I can take 4 pretty easily. Maybe more than that. I don't know. But we're looking at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 if I do that. So I need to take at least 2 more points away. And that's going to be pretty fucking hard. My fastest movement is Cav at 6. I could take this. The Mahdi could run there. Automatically ended on my turn as the Mahdiist. Taking this and this would be sufficient. There are 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 points. If I take 5 of those, I drop them to 9. So I need to take 6. 6 is these 2. Can I take anything else at the same time? Yeah, but I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to make things kind of risky in a lot of cases. Cav are able to race there. I do have a couple of Cav. I could send them, or I could send the Mahdi. I'll figure out my optimal strategy. This fucker is a tribal. He has 4 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4. He can make it into there. That helps. This is very easy for them to get. So I feel like I have to try to defend that. And that's against quite a mighty force. Boy. It's only 4 away. That's a possibility to hit. These are both 6. This is very easy, but it's got a decent sized stack, and this thing might make it down. I still haven't moved this, but I've moved everything else. I've taken these. That's going to put them at 3. I have to take that. 4, 5, we'll call that a point. 6. That means if a landing would be enough to win them something, but I don't think there's another point I can get. And I'm trying to put enough force that I have a fair chance of beating things. I could walk up here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not terribly helpful. I think we just plow in because I don't think I can actually defend that. These are tremendously helpful. I could have gone for a riskier type of proposition, but I would have to either send the Mahdi or split the Cav or something like that. And I have to win this one. All right. I will start doing the battles, but I always win tactical superiority each round here. And that's kind of useful. Initiative here. This could be terrible. It's not. I get 4 quick dice. I know, we're at the end. I feel like I get a kill. That's good enough. I won the fight there. I would be allowed to advance, but I'm not going to be able to get there. So we go to the next one. Where did I put that? Oh, Mahdi. Oh, no. The Mahdi wins, not the Mahdiist forces. We get the initiative in this one. We've been successful, but we didn't chase him away. Sorry. Where does he want to go? See, he's a risky piece. I think he wants to go there. Question is, do I chase him? This is pretty hard for them to get to. So the answer is no, because we're not allowed to. We're tribal. Fair enough. Go here. This is bad because he can retreat right there. That's not cool. All right, but we can attack. No, we have nothing they can pursue. Brits get the advantage on this one. They have a lot of dice. This is, I don't know if it's the iffiest, but it's pretty bad. They kill one, they hit one, and now the Mahdeists get to retreat. They'll fall back to here. This can't pursue. Okay, what are we looking at now? 3, 4, call it 5, 6, 7. That's not great, but it could be worse. Okay, forces of the Mahdi. Gordon's kind of crappy forces. It's not a fortress because of the Nile. Mahdi wins the initiative. He's going to open up with the 5 dice piece. He gets a hit and 2 panics. Gordon does not feel terribly useful. I'm going to take the hit on Gordon. Poor him. And 2 panics. I'll take both. Falling back here. The Mahdi could chase them. That's not good. If he doesn't get a lot of movement, he can't make it there. I'm going to stop with that success. This card is removed. Final chance of the game. Punitive Expedition. This is powerful 3 Egyptian units, but only Egyptians can move. And this is where Gordon would have been useful. This is going to hurt them heavily, this particular card. The Egyptians, I think, are not picked at random. They can be chosen. Absolutely key factor. I can't build the Egyptians here. The 29.13 is Gordon and British recruits can go in the ports. And I can't move the Brits, so I don't even have a shot at that. So the Brits are looking at 3, 4, 5 if I occupy this, which I have nothing that, I have this which can do it. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think I can get another 2 points, no matter what. My movement is 4 for the riverboat. It would have to start here if I built it. That's not going to help me. Any Egyptians I build are going to have to start there. That's not going to help me. I could build garrison units, I think, anywhere that I own. But again, that doesn't give me anything in terms of additional areas. I think the Empire has just lost because, I mean, I could make this attack. I mean, might as well, I guess. It doesn't really matter what I pick here. I'm not going to have... Cav only moves 3, the boat moves 4. Take the boat. I'm allowed 3 units, right? Oh, yeah, I do get to pick them. Okay, so I can go 1, 2, 3. I can't go any further. We'll just... I could go here. That's not going to help me. These can't move. This could conceivably win this. Taking this hex, or space, I could do it, but that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, not enough. This is the only thing that could win me the game. I've got no chance, but it's a desperate attack. The Egyptians, the Mahdi wins the initiative. He's going to throw 5 dice at that Egyptian unit, none of which hit. The Egyptian unit gets to swing back. If it gets 4 hits, it wins, like 4 sixes. We get 1. We're worried about very little here. Killing that, I think, gives us our best odds. We will now go with the Mahdi, I guess. I'm missing a die. There it is. He fucking misses. This is already gone. Actually, I get 7 more dice. That kills it. That's the game. The Mahdeists won. Largely because of the movement restrictions and whatnot, which is just part of the game. It's part of the luck factor and everything. If the Brits had gotten to go themselves, let's see what the other card is. That would be interesting. Mad Dash, that sounds promising. No recruits, but the Brits get to move, and they get to move pretty fast, except for infantry. That wouldn't be enough. The boat can move pretty far. It could carry all them in. We would have had a good shot at taking Khartoum back. Had we taken Khartoum and this, we would be at 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We would have won. So it might have well come down to, the Mahdeists were not very big. It might well have come down to which of those 2 cards came up. The one that came up, I had no chance of winning with for the Empire. But the other one, I think I had a fair chance of beating the Mahdeists. Who knows? There's a lot of luck in buckets of dice, right? Overall, I like the mechanisms for the end of play in this a lot better than I liked the ones in Montrose. Montrose put me in a position that felt really gamey. Like this one, I didn't feel like, oh, I've screwed myself over because I attacked some of the burgs, that are near me to try to get my points up quickly, so that I'd have a shot at like trying to win the game or whatever, which I've now decided is not the proper solution. The proper way to play that game as the Royalists is leave those burgs that are close to you available to pick up. Not that that's important, but there's just this weird sort of, it feels so counterintuitive and everything. You want to keep a couple of points in your back areas that you can take at the end of the game. Absolutely counterintuitive, to how I would want to choose to play it. But so what I kind of liked about that one, which was, yeah, it's a serviceable little game. This one is too, but it doesn't have that big flaw that makes the first play so horrible. I find this one much more enjoyable, and would not mind if I find other games of this series in there. I think there's, sure, there's a lot of luck, especially with the cards and the die, the amount of die rolling you do and random unit selection and everything. Could I have played this one better as one side or the other? Obviously, but it doesn't feel like there was some sort of gamey trick that I had to take into play. It felt like things were straightforward in this. The only thing that, one of the biggest things that would help me in terms of being more effective at it is to know what the cards are. But again, I don't really like doing that. I like to be surprised by the events that come out. Anyway, that is Khartoum, and we will. I feel like I should. I feel like I should review it as well, even though I've kind of probably said everything that I want to about it.